Welcome. I'm Narelle Duncan, Director of Healing by Nature, and I'm proud to present to you a journey through iridology. Now let's take a look at the history of iridology, and we'll go back as far as 1000 BC, in the ancient times of the Chaldeans of Babylonia, where they depicted the iris and its relationship to the body in carved stone slabs. We then follow through to the times of Hippocrates in 450 BC, where he taught iris diagnosis at the medical school of Salerno. We then travel through time, through to the 1800s, where one of the most famous depictions of the use of iridology was by a gentleman by the name of Ignaz von Pexley. And at the age of 11, he discovered an owl in his own back garden, and in the struggle to catch the owl, it broke its leg, and Ignaz noticed a black stripe rising up in the owl's eye. He kept the bird and nursed it back to health, and in doing so, he noticed that over the black line that appeared in the owl's eye, a white line started to appear as it began to reflect the healing signs that was going on in the owl's leg. Since then, iridology has spread throughout the world, particularly used in places in Europe like Germany, where it's used in hospitals by doctors as a diagnostic skill, and throughout America as well. In particular, an iridologist by the name of Dr. Bernard Jensen made iridology famous and wrote several volumes on the iridology diagnostic tool. I think Bernard Jensen wrote it best when he stated, "Iridology is the science and practice of analyzing the iris, the most complex tissue structure in the human anatomy. It reveals the presence of tissue inflammation in the body, where it is located, and what stage of disease it has reached, acute, subacute, chronic, or degenerative. The iris reveals the level of constitutional strength, inherent weaknesses, state of health, and the transitions that take place in a person's organs and tissues, according to the way he or she lives." So iridology provides us with a holistic diagnostic tool that enables the analysis of the whole person. The reading of an iris gives us a unique insight into the inner environment of the body and its state of health. Here we can actually see one of the maps that Bernard Jensen did up to reflect the different bodily systems that reflect in the iris of the eye. Here we have a map which shows the different areas of the digestive system and where they can be seen in the iris of the eye. Let's take an even closer look at the structure of the eye. In the picture on the left, you'll see the actual iris fiber structures and where the pupil is positioned in relation to the iris fibers. And to the right, you'll see a close-up view that there's several levels of fiber structure to the actual iris. Indeed, there's about 4 or so levels. And this is what an iridologist is looking into and reflecting the changes that are occurring in the tissues of the body. So when an iridologist is looking into your eye, they're looking at the pupil in the center. Slightly out from there, the fiber structure in the area is called the rough zone, and this reflects your digestive system. Further out is the rough border, and this actually reflects the nervous system. Further out, once again, is referred to the ciliary zone, and as reflected in Bernard Jensen's topography map, we'll see all the organs of the body in this particular area of the eye. Out towards then, the ciliary border, and then we go into the white of the eye, which is known as the sclera. If we take a close-up look at a real iris photo, we'll see these areas in the iris. We can see the black pupil, and just outside the black pupil is the rough zone, which is reflected in the digestive system. You'll see in this picture where the red lines are showing the A&W, which was also referred to as the rough border, which reflects the nervous system. Outside of that area is then where all the bodily organs are positioned. And then, of course, we see the whites of the eye, the sclera. So when an iridologist is looking into your eyes, they're looking at different tissue changes that are reflected in the actual iris fiber structure of the iris. Here in this diagram, we can see a particularly yellowing area in the actual iris fiber structure. The fibers are looking thickened and yellow, indicating a subacute condition. And when we look at the topography map of the iris, we'll actually see that this is over the pituitary gland area that is one of the major glands in the brain, which may be affecting hormonal cycles. It could be reflective in headaches or reproductive type conditions. You may have also noticed brown type spots in some people's iris. These are known as psoric spots, and dependent on where they're positioned in the iris of the eye, indicates where the bodily system is being affected. It tends to indicate toxic buildup in the body when it's an acquired sign, and when it's a genetic, it can indicate a rather highly driven and mentally active individual. Lastly, I'd like to show you a sign that appears in the elderly, generally appearing from 60 years onward, and it's known as a sodium or cholesterol ring, appearing as an opaque whiteness around the ciliary border. This reflects a hardening of the arteries, and quite often there's high cholesterol and possibly high blood pressure involved. Of course, it's recommended that clients visit their practitioner and have their blood cholesterol and blood pressure checked. If you're as fascinated with iridology as we are, may I recommend the textbook Iridology Basic Skills, Windows to Your Body and Soul, where you can discover more knowledge on the history of iridology and explore the scientific workings of this wonderful iris diagnostic skill. You can acquire the tools of the trade and use iridology as a diagnostic tool. We'll study the American system of iridology as explored by Dr. Bernard Jensen. You'll learn constitutional iris signs, stages of disease as reflected in the iris, and several iris markings and signs, all displayed in full-colour iris photos. If you'd like to purchase one of these books, you can contact Healing via Nature, the publisher, on 0755 763 422, or please visit our website at www.healingvianature.com. We trust you enjoyed this presentation and look forward to exploring the wonders of iridology with you further.